Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing my Notre Dame BYU preview and prediction. So as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Help this video and this channel grow by doing that. Like the video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below. As always, share your thoughts on what you think this Notre Dame game will be like, whether you think BYU will take home the W to Provo, or whether Notre Dame will get its first top 25 win of the season. Let's get started with today's video. But before we start, a quick message from me personally. Sorry I didn't post a video in the past couple of weeks. It has been really busy. I'm a senior in high school, and I've had to take the SAT in the past week or so. And I've had other things come up being a senior in high school. So, and with Notre Dame on a bye week, I just didn't make a bye week video. So we're moving on to this week. We got some stuff to work on, and for the remainder of the year, I should be able to get videos out consistently, at least a Notre Dame preview, and we'll see what else I can put out, maybe a Bears preview as well. So, starting with the preview of the matchup, and what I mean by that is a preview of each team, how their season is going, and then we'll move on to the next one. We're going to start with BYU. BYU has had some significant injuries. I would name them, but there's quite a lot of them. You have some players still out. You have some players still that could come back, that they're questionable. Like I said, there was a list about 6 or 7 guys, and I'm sorry I'm not a BYU fan, so I don't know them all. So with this, I think it's going to be a game that injuries could play a factor for BYU. I think BYU has had some struggles because of those injuries, that there is such a significant part, or such a significant amount, not part, with those injuries, that there are quite a bit of them. So they are taken into account. So there are a lot of injuries, especially at the wide receiver position for BYU. There's a lot of injuries there. But we'll see. The biggest one that I see and that I did want to preface was Puka. No idea how to say his name, so if I said it wrong, I'm sorry. He is questionable for this game, which means I'm going to guess he will play. Questionable generally means that you're probably going to play. Doubtful means you're probably not going to play. Like, if you had to say they're not going to play, they are going to play, I'm going to say he probably will, but I doubt he'll be 100% with the hamstring. I think that could play a factor. With this BYU schedule, with what's going on at the moment, they had a struggle against Utah State last week, so that's a little bit concerning. They've had a lot of injuries. This BYU team has disappointed me a little bit. Actually, so far, their record has been exactly what I predicted, with a 4-1 record and a loss at Oregon. Actually, surprising I predicted that so correctly. But with this, Notre Dame, BYU, is going to be an interesting matchup in the sense, another factor with this, I know this isn't specifically BYU, but this game is in Las Vegas. I expect it to be a pretty 50-50 crowd. If it is going to be a crowd in one way or another, I expect it probably to go in Notre Dame's favor, just because Notre Dame travels much better than BYU generally. So maybe BYU has some factors there going for them. Maybe they don't. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of hard to say. But I'm going to guess that home field advantage is kind of negated. It's a game in Las Vegas. Not much going on home field-wise. But with this, I think BYU, they do have a lot of injuries. They did play well against Baylor at home, but they struggled massively against Oregon on the road. That was a game in which BYU, to be honest, I picked BYU to win that game on that week. If you don't know, I do a podcast called College Football Truth Day, and I pick 20 games every single week. So that was a game where I picked BYU because of their performance against Baylor, and they really massively struggled. So I have a lot of question marks about BYU coming into this game. Even though they do have that 4-1 record, they struggled against Wyoming and Utah State a little bit each. And Baylor, they played well in that game, but it came down to a last-second not a last second, but a last couple of minutes game. So I have a lot of question marks, and that does not say Notre Dame does not have a lot of question marks, but really this is a BYU team that I expected to have a little bit more of an identity in and a little bit more defined position, and I really don't. I really am not sure what I want to think about this team at the moment or going into that. I think BYU's a good team. I like Jaron Hall, but I don't know. I'm really kind of 50-50 on this and not sure where or what to think about BYU at the moment. Moving on to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, you have a team that, well, let's just say they have a few question marks, a lot of question marks to be honest. You just had a bye week. Just your bye week was last week. So does this mean MarcusFreeman is going to be improved after the bye week, or will he come off sloppy? Because there are some coaches that Brian Kelly has had a couple of moments where that Michigan game in 2019, it was off a bye week. And you just felt absolutely flat in that game and were stunk and just awful. And that was a game that you really struggled in. With this, I would say that Notre Dame, I really think, has the ability to turn around this season. And with this matchup particularly, I think Notre Dame has the ability to run the ball the same way that they did against North Carolina, being able to use that passing attack to implement, or using the running attack to implement a passing attack, stuff like that, because Drew Pine ain't, he's not exactly the solution at Notre Dame. He has struggled in some points of getting passes batted down. He's not really big, has played really well, considering the circumstances, obviously. Like, he's not the future quarterback of Notre Dame, at least I hope. So with this, I think that Pine, you have some ability in him to be able to use him. He's somewhat mobile. He's not as mobile as Tyler Buckner, but he's mobile enough. He's not a statue, the same way that Jack Cohn was. And Notre Dame is starting to kind of shape into form. We'll see whether they're able to fully with BYU. But really, I think that with Notre Dame, you got to use that passing attack. Isaiah Foskey and Riley Mills and Justin Adamiola and all of that have to get at the quarterback and Jared Hall. So I really think that that's what it comes down to. So 3 keys to victory for Notre Dame, because this is kind of a Notre Dame adjacent podcast, or Notre Dame, not podcast, but Notre Dame kind of channel. Number 1, you got to run the ball. You got to set the tone in the trenches. You got to be able to set the tone and be able to run the ball and to stop the run. That's number 1. Number 2, get Drew Pine comfortable. Get some passes to Michael Mayer, some quick screens to Lorenzo Styles, some flat routes to Chris Tyree or Logan Diggs or Audrey Estime. Get some of that easy stuff working for Drew Pine. And the third key to the game is defensively, you got to get after the quarterback. If you can get after the quarterback, I think that should help out your secondary. The secondary has been pretty good. Last week, last game against North Carolina, it did have some struggles, so I was a little bit concerned about that. But overall, pretty good with that. My prediction for this game, I think Notre Dame gets the W here. If I had to put a score on this, I hate doing this. That's why I didn't really think about it. But if I had to put a score, I think 35-17. Notre Dame. I think that they're able to get a W. I think that they actually will play pretty well in this game. I think Notre Dame will be able to get a big win here on a road-ish trip, neutral site. So yeah, that is all for today's video. Make sure the 2 videos down below and hit the subscribe button up here. And as always, have a great day. Bye.